Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is the Film Cricket. So today I want to talk to you about Star Wars Solo movie. I remember when they announced this one, I was really excited. I thought, I love Han Solo, who doesn't? This is going to be great. And unfortunately it wasn't, right? It took a lot of us back. We were all really shocked by how bad it was. Some people liked it, and to them, I guess, much love. But the problem is it had a couple major flaws, and I think we're going to talk about them here today. So in case you don't know, Star Wars Solo's movie basically is a recapping and an introductory story for Han Solo. Han Solo's beloved character, everybody loves him. I think it's honestly fair to say that he was probably liked by a lot of people better than Luke Skywalker himself. You know, he's this dashing rogue, a smuggler. He had Chewbacca by his side, probably one of the coolest spaceships ever put to film with the Millennium Falcon. We all loved Han Solo. And it made sense for a lot of people to have this backstory that went along with him. They thought it was an easy cash grab, an easy money maker, something that they could put their name on, sell to the people, and just rake in the dollars. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. We got this weird, really trying too hard backstory that didn't make sense. Nobody really liked it. I mean, it's an interesting enough watch. It has some good actors in it. It has some great characters in it. Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian is phenomenal, and I'll tell you, I used to love him when he was on Community, and I didn't even recognize him in this movie. In fact, I was watching Community just the other night, and I said, "Oh my gosh, that he plays Lando!" I didn't even piece it together. He's that good. He's so separate from his other part. If you haven't watched Community, by all means, go out and watch Community. You're gonna love it too. The biggest problem with this movie is the story, right? So there are some definite story beats that were pretty cool. If you haven't seen the movie, big spoiler alert. Maybe I'll put a big flashing sign in my video here that says spoiler alert. But big spoiler alert, you get to see Darth Maul come back at the end. It's kind of cool. It gives that crowd fan service that people want. Ooh, cool, Darth Maul. And yeah, even for me, that was kind of neat. It brought in the cartoons into the lore, so you got a little bit more of the expanded universe, and people like that. I like that. But besides that, maybe the gambling scene with the Millennium Falcon, nothing else really hits. It's so bad. And here's the thing too. I'll tell you, there's a couple scenes that we will not talk about. I'm going to show them here. All right, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, but then we're not going to talk about them because they're not even the worst of it. So one of those scenes is this one here. So as we're getting into this, a little setup real quick. Han is running. This is real early on in the movie. He's trying to get away. His girlfriend just got captured. He's thinking, how do I get off this planet? And he sees this chance to join the Empire, which just blows my mind that he was ever in the Empire. And he says, "Oh, this is my shot. I'm gonna enlist. Let's see what happens in this interaction."
Why, have you got somewhere to be?
Yeah, back here, as soon as I can.
Don't hear that much. What's your name, son?
Han.
What? Who are your people?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo. Approved. Proceed to transport ID 83 for the Naval Academy at Kurita.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the worst scene of the whole movie. It bugs me more than anyone else out there. Every time I referred back to this movie and talked to people about how bad it is, this is my go-to scene. Han Solo because you're alone. Did we really need a backstory on his name? Back when he sits there and says, look, I have no people, right? That was cool. You're going, he's on his own. He's a guy. I never thought about what Han Solo's name was and why he has it, short of it's just his name, until they gave me this, and now I hate it. Please do not give me this tripe in the future. It would be like if somebody wanted to do a backstory about Luke Skywalker and they said, we need to figure out why his name is Luke Skywalker. Oh, I know. Maybe if as a boy we say something like, oh, he was really into riding surfboards across the sky, and so we're going to have this thing where Luke Skywalker is really walking on the sky by surfing on these surfboards, and therefore he is a sky walker. You see, it's very clever. Everybody will get it, and if they don't, we're going to pound it into their brain by giving them the visual during a movie so that they can go totally insane. It is nuts, and we shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that to us. But I digress. Let's get back to what we're talking about. The minor, mind-numbing problems aside, the ones that really infuriate me aside, Solo's biggest problem is they tried taking what was a running joke, I think, throughout cinema, throughout media, and make it into something that they could fix in this movie. And of course, I am talking about the infamous Kessel Run.
Hey, girls. Anyone want to make the Kessel Run?
That'd be cool, but we only got 12 parsecs.
Hop in.
See, despite what Peter and the girls may think, parsec is not actually a unit of time. And that was the kind of the joke that they carried over from the first Star Wars. You know, in that movie, Han Solo said,
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie here tells me you're looking for passage to the Alderaan system.
Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship.
Fast ship? You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. I've outrun Imperial starships. Not the local bulk cruisers, mind you. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships now. She's fast enough for you, old man.
So it's clear that Han Solo is talking about speed. He's asked about speed. He gives a speed answer. Is it fast enough for you, old man? It's so clear that even Family Guy picks up on it.
I'm Han Solo, captain of the Millennium Falcon and the only actor whose career isn't destroyed by this movie.
Is it a fast ship?
Are you kidding? It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Isn't a parsec a unit of distance, not time?
Wait. Chewie, take these guys to the ship and get her ready.
Even Brooklyn Nine-Nine takes the time to call out this error.
Astronomy is full of interesting facts. For instance, here's one that Hollywood doesn't want you to know. A parsec is actually a measure of distance. One of the many inaccuracies in the Star Wars universe.
And was Star Wars?
Oh boy.
So Solo, it tries to deal with this problem, right? The writers were sitting in a room, they were thinking to themselves, how do we deal with this issue of the parsec? Well, we'll make a whole movie about it, apparently. And in the movie, they set it up like the major event. So the movie sets up that our intrepid heroes have to go through this giant gas planetary thing. And there's only one way in and one way out with these markers. And there's a certain amount of distance they have to fly to get to the center of it to get to where they're going.
Carbon bergs, size of planets crashing into each other. Ships fly in there, they never come out. It's ionized gas, water vapor, possibly vacuum-breathing life forms swirling around the maw. Only way in or out is this channel.
It's clear that this maw, as it is described, is a really bad place. And if you don't stay within this channel, there's a likelihood you are dead. Now, our heroes get to the middle of the channel, where they're going. They have their very little adventure on the inside. And it becomes time for them to get out. And wouldn't you know it, there's a Star Destroyer blocking the exit.
I'm on the ventral gun.
It's an easy equation. We simply don't have enough time to get to Savarine before the canisters explode.
Just have to find a faster route.
There isn't one. You can't make the Kessel Run in less than 20 parsecs.
Watch me.
How?
Take a shortcut. Through there.
Into the Maelstrom. Spectacular way of killing us all. I'll give you that.
I got a really good feeling about this.
I don't know why Han has a really good feeling about this. He actually have a really bad feeling about this because it's crap. It's junk. And let's talk for a second too about trying to shoehorn that idea. I got a really good feeling about this into this movie. Now, I understand before everybody gets mad at me that the original line is something about I have a bad feeling about this and ooh, we're so clever. I've got a really good feeling about this to show I don't know what that we know the old line and everybody's supposed to get really excited and go ooh he kind of said the thing and the thing. That's dumb. All right, it's dumb. It's kind of like shooing in "Hasta la vista, baby" into every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie just because people will go ooh the thing. Stop that. Don't do that. That's bad. In researching for this video, I did do a little looking around and I found some Reddit posts that actually came to the same conclusion that I'm going to get to here eventually in my video. And they attributed it to George Lucas. So I went searching around and I tried to find this interview, this DVD commentary where George Lucas is going to ultimately get to something sort of like I'm going to get to. Now, when I get to my idea, I'll indicate, look, this was what I had heard George Lucas also said, but it's honestly not what I found. I found George Lucas actually took another position on it during the DVD commentary, and this is what it looks like his position is as it pertains to the whole Kessel Run controversy and Han Solo.
One of the concepts that is sort of controversial is the fact that when Han Solo talks about getting from point A to point B, he talks in terms of parsecs, which is distance rather than time. The premise being that in order to travel through hyperspace, you have to plot a course around all of the stuff, all of the planets and stars and everything. So that the fastest way to 2 points is a straight line. And it's up to your navigomputer and your navigation skills. That's what makes you go fast. And in particular case of the Millennium Falcon has an extremely sophisticated navigation system. So the reason it's the fastest ship in the galaxy is not because it actually has speed, but it has navigational skills that allows it to go from point A to point B faster than anybody else. And of course that was never explained and people got very confused by it. But if you follow the story, I think you would figure it out that speed is determined by distance. I mean, the speed that you get to a point is the distance you travel. If there's a lot in the way, and if you fly through something, it'll obviously destroy you. So the idea is you got to plot a course around everything and get there in the fastest route.
Now, if you watch the movie, what George is saying here makes sense in the world they built. So again, if you haven't watched it, you shouldn't be listening to this. But Lando's droid that's running around with him, who's all about, equal liberation for droids, which is its whole other thing. She winds up dying, and the droid is a she based off of the voice, and doesn't matter. So she winds up dying, and they decide that she had this great navigational system. They're going to integrate it into the Millennium Falcon and upload her. That's when the last clip you saw where Lando runs off. He's running off to do that. And she's going to find a way to navigate through the Maw in order to get out of the Kessel Run in a shorter distance. Now that's consistent with what George is saying. Say we're going to make shorter distance, therefore it's going to make it quicker. Put aside the idea that it's not really quicker. Quicker is how fast does your ship go based off of the same distance as somebody else's ship. In fact, if you remember when the Death Star blew up in the original, or no, I guess it was in Part 3, when the Death Star blows up, the Millennium Falcon's the fastest one that can be inside the Death Star and fly out with the flames blowing behind it because it's so fast. When we keep talking about fast in a very traditional sense. But I guess we can get behind maybe this idea that if I take a shortcut, I got there faster than you did. And that's really what George is talking about, right? He says, if we plot this straight line better than other people plot straight lines, then I guess that makes you faster because my straight line is faster than your straight line. Or maybe he's saying that because my nav system can plot around this star tighter than your nav system can plot around that star, it's faster because I'm going a shorter distance. Or maybe I don't have to worry about this planet because my nav system has the updated GPS in it, so I know that that's not there where you're still flying around it. That's not how we're using speed. And even in this movie, they fly around a lot of different things when they get into the mall. They're zipping in and out and around this, and it really seems much more like they're doing it on their own. Now, I'm sure the nav system has something to do with it, but this just doesn't work. So I found this quote. It says, did George Lucas realize that a parsec was a measure of distance when he included that line in A New Hope about Han doing the Kessel Run and all that? And this Eric Lowe guy, I don't know him from Adam, but he says he's a scholar, Star Wars scholar and historical European martial arts instructor. And he goes through some of the script. But he points out, he says, as several others have said, it was clearly intended that the audience realize Han is a blowhard and a braggart. This is also a potential chance for the audience to get another bit of character development for Ben. He may be dressed like a moisture farmer, but he's been around the block more than Han realizes. The actual delivery of the line, in Eric Lowe's opinion, conveys none of this. Well, I agree with him, which I think is why the EU Extended Universe went with the tortured explanation about how the Kessel Run is a serious astrological challenge, and you need a fast ship, good chart skills, and a giant brass balls to try to shortcut it. The Extended Universe explains, in turn, become the basis of the Kessel Run we saw in Solo, in which it was also presented as a serious challenge, and no other ordinary ship or pilot could successfully shortcut it. Here's the thing, though. I like what he says at first, and it's exactly what I've been saying about how to have fixed this issue. Han is a blowhard. You can't believe him. And this whole Kessel Run issue, although it wasn't presented to show how sly and crafty Obi-Wan was in the cantina scene, right? Obi-Wan did not catch Han on this lie. But it could have been used to show how naive Luke was in this scene. You see, if we'd have gone back to Solo, and this is where I say credit should be given to other people for maybe having figured this out before, but I hadn't seen it presented before. This is why I'm presenting it to you. If we had set up Solo as a totally different story, not one that is set up to basically retcon or fix this whole Kessel Run issue, to bring out this extended universe issue and say, look, we actually did figure it out and now we're going to give you a whole movie about it. Instead, let's have Solo be its own standalone issue, its own standalone movie. And in Solo, we could have had something where Han sitting there across the table from somebody, he has the Falcon already, maybe we see him get it from Lando, maybe we don't. That can be part of the movie, I don't care. But when he's sitting across from somebody, he uses this line, right? Like, this is the ship that did the Kessel Run in however many parsecs. And that person just looks at him and goes, what are you talking about? That is a measurement of distance, not a measurement of time. Or something else that somebody very clever in Hollywood actually writes. And Han simply says, oh man, that usually works. Okay. There you go. You got your little joke in. We paid lip service and fan service to this idea that he said it before. And what it does is it lets us know Luke really was naive. Luke sitting in that cantina did not get that line is just some BS. I throw it out there to get the money from the rubes. I let you know that I've got this cool ship and I say all sorts of things. Other people have caught on to my lie, but you're just a moisture farmer. You're just a guy sitting on Tatooine who has visions of being a great space pilot, and you didn't catch my lie, so I've got the upper hand. Let's go do this. Now we can spend the next however many years debating whether or not Obi-Wan knew that Solo was BSing him. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, and that's all fine. But we wouldn't have had to had this extended universe version of this maw, and you have to fly through it in this way, and you have to have this really cool computer that can do it. It would have been simple, it would have been thrown away, it would have been cheeky, and we could have had a movie that was much more and much greater than a movie that was set up just to make us feel like that line meant more than it did, that it was actually correct. A whole movie written around that little point was bad. And so, look, I'm not saying Solo is a really horrible movie. There are definitely aspects of it that I could continue to point out, say how bad they are, little things here or there that I haven't touched on yet, the robot story, this heist that you just saw come up, that's okay, fine. Han being a part of the Empire at one point. Han's first love wasn't really Leia. This idea of the fuzzy dice that aren't fuzzy that he hangs in his ship and stuff, that they tried to make into a big thing in the later movies. It seemed like they tried to retcon a little bit into this one to bring tie into the other later movies, to say, look, it really was a thing when he gives it to Leia. Other issues, for sure. This one issue, though, we made a movie ultimately to get to the Kessel Run and try to resolve an issue that really could have been a throwaway, tongue-in-cheek, show the rube on Tatooine line. It was a bridge too far for me. Go out and see it. Look, you can find this movie now on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus and you're not one of the many people that have canceled your Disney Plus subscription, fine. Go watch it. It's I guess interesting enough to see, and if you like, I guess Han Solo, it gives you a little bit more of a story for him, but don't expect great cinema out of it. Guess this is the part of the video where I say if you liked my video, then share my video, subscribe to my videos. We're going to be doing a lot of these hopefully coming up. It's a film cricket channel. We cricket films. So, you know, I want to do a lot more of the hey, this is in theaters, this is what I saw, this is what I review of it, whether or not I thought it was good. Let people know. I've got a pretty long history of watching movies. I guess I just call myself out for being old, but maybe not that old. Watch a lot of them. I want you all to know what's out there and what to see. There are some times that we're going to talk about older movies and what they've done right, what they've done wrong, bring up some other points, but really we want to talk about some reviews. This is my first video. I know it was a little rough. I appreciate you sticking through it with me. Otherwise, all I can say is good night, sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.